if your nervous system is dysregulated, if your nervous system has experienced lots of things that actually push us out of regulation and into a stress state, and your body is at the point where your nervous system basically goes, there's nothing more I can handle. I can't do this. This is too much. It's almost like an overwhelmed feeling. Your body just goes, nah, can't deal. Like everything else might be in alignment, but if your
I'm
nervous
over
system is,
it.
there's no way, right? So when I think about alignment or the impact of alignment, when all of that is working together, that's where you're in full flow in momentum.
So we talk about alignment here on my channel a lot, but basically it's in the context of aligning your goals with the plans you have to achieve the goals and the actions that you intend to take to work the plan. However, today I'm talking to Christine Corcoran, and she is an amazing business coach who was recently on my podcast. She is a business mindset master coach, a speaker, podcast host, and the creator of the Thrive Retreat. She also has Elevate and Next Level Masterminds. These masterminds transform your work, money, and business programs. Through transformational mindset work, money mindset strategies, value-aligned business goals, and leadership skills, Christine coaches stressed out and overwhelmed business women to grow and scale their businesses by becoming confident, powerhouse women who charge what they're worth so they can thrive and succeed in business. Now, I will share her full bio, which is extensive, over on my podcast. So I will leave the link down below because that conversation was truly amazing. As a matter of fact, that is where this conversation came from. In the conversation, I asked her about alignment and confidence. I think that was the context of the question. And she gave such an amazing answer that was a different perspective on alignment that I really thought it was best served here on the channel. And so I wanted to share it with you. So sit back and relax and learn a little bit about alignment and how it's actually a physical thing. It's something that has to do with your body. And in understanding that, you will be able to make better decisions, be more discerning, and achieve your goals a little bit easier so that you'll know exactly what actions to take, what actions aren't going to work. I just thought it was phenomenal, her answer, and I thought I should share it with you. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Please comment below and tell me your thoughts on alignment and how you use it in your ability to achieve your goals. I want to know, I want to hear. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, click that notification bell so that you never miss an episode, and give this video a big thumbs up because it goes a long way in helping me achieve my goals here on this channel and providing you with the content you want to see. All right, let's head over to the video and I'll see you in a little bit. Now, when we talk about, this idea of our mind and how it communicates and the language and how we speak to ourselves to achieve our goals, tell me what you think about what I consider to be an enormous underestimation of the importance of being in alignment with your goals, and what does that look like to you? Like, why should we care about it? How can it benefit us in the short and long term? And then what advice would you give for becoming better or more aligned with our goals with respect to this neuro-linguistic programming and all of that we just finished talking about?
So when I think about like neuro-linguistic program, it's understanding a lot of the brain in our head. Whereas when I think about alignment, I actually bring in my M-braining training. So M-braining is understanding that there's multiple neural networks. So our brain is a neural network. Our heart is a neural network, right? Our gut is a neural network. And there's so many more studies coming out that actually has so much proof around this, and it's so fascinating. And I'll explain it and it'll make sense to you in a second. The gut health thing, because I think that's mad crazy. Like, you would think that like your brain and your heart and your lung do the things that really kind of tie your health together, but really it's your gut. That is just, it's fascinating. That's a whole nother podcast, but I want to hear what you have to say. We could talk about that in a whole podcast. You have to understand what you need to do and be your best altogether anyway. And we talk about that all the time here on how you can be real, how you can be authentic and transparent. then we also have our sexual organs, which will also drive creativity. And then we also have our nervous system, which impact our capacity to hold more or to be able to do, right? So when it comes to alignment, we think about, like, I'm sure if you can think back to the past of certain experiences where there's been some times where you're like, I know what I need to do, but I'm just not doing it, right? And there's other times where you're like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. So I've thought it through. I know what actions I need to take, but my heart's just not in it, right? There's been times like that. Or there's other times where your heart's in it, but you're just, there's something stopping you from taking the action, right? So that's actually where your body is out of alignment. Right? So we have our head, which is our creative space where we think things through, we problem solve. We have our heart where we feel our emotions, where we feel connected to people. And our heart really knows, like, we should all honestly be following what our heart truly desires, because that's actually what drives the majority of our behavior. When our heart leads, it's always from a place of love. It's always from a place of really knowing what's important to us. So it's connected to what's important to us and our emotions and how we're connected to other people. Our gut is our action center. So we take action from, like, if you ever heard people say, go with your gut, right? There's actually language that we use all the time with connected neural networks.
Or my gut was telling me that wasn't a good move.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because there was something off, whereas your gut was like, that's the intuition kind of connection. And so then we have our sexual organs is where we birth things through, right? So when you're birthing new ideas, you're birthing new businesses, it actually comes, there's an alignment that happens. You have the idea in your head, you check in with your heart to be like, is this something that I really want to do? And then you take the action from your gut, and then you birth it.
Oh my God.
The nervous system is like the backbone of all of those, okay? So if your nervous system is dysregulated, if your nervous system has experienced lots of things that actually push us out of regulation and into a stress state, and your body is at the point where your nervous system basically goes, there's nothing more I can handle. I can't do this. This is too much. It's almost like an overwhelmed feeling. Your body just goes, nah, can't deal. Everything else might be in alignment, but if your nervous system is there's no way, right? So when I think about alignment or the impact of alignment, when all of that is working together, that's where you're in full flow in momentum, right? You're taking action. It doesn't feel hard, or it doesn't feel effort. Right. It feels effortless. It feels like an absolute flow. Things just work for you beautifully. You feel in alignment with it. You feel positive, and you have all those positive emotions flowing through you, and the action is easy, right? That's the beauty of full alignment. When we're out of alignment, it can feel like we're pushing stuff so hard, like we're trying to make things happen. Allowing the flow to happen. So whenever I think about setting a goal, or I think about working towards something, and if I can usually have a really good connection with my body now to determine whether I'm in alignment or not. But if I notice that sometimes it's actually after the fact, if I haven't taken the action, or if I found myself procrastinating, or if I found myself doing anything else, but I will literally sit down and go, okay, where am I out of alignment? What's my head telling me? What's my heart saying? What am I feeling with connection to that action step? What action steps do I need to get clearer on? Or is there an element there that I'm not trusting myself here, or there's something else my intuition is telling me? Am I ready to birth this into the world? Because sometimes you're not really, it's not ready, or you're not ready. Or is it my nervous system saying you're already at full capacity, you need to work out how to set better boundaries, you need to re-energize yourself, you need to recharge before you go and do this. There's something you maybe be
so good
late in order to acknowledge that your nervous system needs to rest or needs to expand. Because a lot of women that I work with, so as a coach, I've coached hundreds of women, and I do it in the realm of business. And usually I'll have women that'll come to me that are at that stage of growth where they're pushing towards their next level of expansion. And the nervous system comes in a lot at that stage. Because if they've never had an experience, or if they don't have a representation in their world of next level of success, the nervous system also goes, that's dangerous. We don't know if we'll be able to handle that. We don't know what level of responsibility that's going to put on us. We don't know what that amount of money will feel like. That feels very foreign. So the nervous system goes out of regulation straight away. So we know, based on our past experiences, what we've been able to handle, right? And so the nervous system remembers that and goes, well, hang on a minute, that was painful. We don't want to experience that again, right? That could be similar to what we're about to step into. Or it goes, we've never experienced that before. That's possibly very out of our expansion.
Yeah, we don't know what to expect with this. This is danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Yeah. And so the nervous system kicks in, which is your fight or flight response, which works the whole way through your body. And then we go, nah, we're going to get stuck here, and we stop and we don't take the action. So alignment is key in everything. And I'm sure there's been times in your life where you've been like, oh, I can tell back then I was in like full alignment, or there's certain things that you've done many times before that you know how to get into alignment.
Yes.
And it becomes part of your pattern. Whereas there's other times where you're like, especially new things or expansion things, it's like, well, how do we get into alignment? So I check in with
you have to discover that at that time.
Yeah. What are my beliefs? What am I thinking and feeling about it? Am I feeling like this is the right thing for me? Like, it's really unpacking how you feel about it, determining what the action is, because sometimes we get stuck in the action piece too, where we're like, we don't know how to do it. We need to get clarity around the how. Other times it's like actually doing nervous system work because we don't feel like we have the capacity.
This is so good, because when we're talking, especially, I'm sure you get this in the business space, where these women have goals, like they have this idea, they can see the end game, like they can see exactly what it is they want to do. But if they are not connecting these alignment dots, like you're saying, it's easy to feel like, going back to the first part of this conversation, that you're the failure, that you're the problem, that you just couldn't stick to it, or whatever it is. And then you got the imposter syndrome, and then all the negative self starts. And what you're saying is there is really a metaphysical component to this thing, where you have to, from the top of your head, like you said, like you've got this area, your brain, then you have your heart, then you have your gut, then you have your private areas that are all a part of this process that you have to get in tune with. And so I think the point I'm trying to make here is that when your goals aren't being met, when you feel like you're just not able to reach them, and instead of feeling like a failure, I think you've given us what we need to do. The homework is go back and look at these 4 areas, and the 5, because you got to add the nervous system. Are these, make it very easy for us to kind of go back and pinpoint, like, is my brain, have I thought this through, with my heart, am I really feeling it? Is it really what I want? Is my heart in it? Is that what the problem is? Is it my gut? Am I supposed to be doing something else? Am I not doing this because I know that there's something ahead that I probably shouldn't do, or there are obstacle that's going to happen? Is that why I haven't done this thing yet? Or have I done this thing before and I already know what I'm going to get, and I'm imagining that thing happening again? I think that is an amazing blueprint to follow with respect to trying to achieve your goals, and really anything, quite honestly. But as we talk about this question, just goals in general and why we have been unable to meet them. I mean, think about all the people who have New Year's resolutions and they are just so gung-ho about it on December 31st, but then January 1 comes. By January 4, they've already dropped the ball and they're beating themselves up about it. Yeah. But they haven't done the work. There was a what is that saying? A goal without a plan is just a wish. You haven't done the work to get fully in alignment to achieve the goal. I love this.
I think the other thing that often plays into that is our emotional anchors. So if we're trying to make change, our emotional anchors keep us anchored to the same emotions, and our emotion drives behavior. So if you're wanting to take different action, then you want to actually shift your behavior and your environment that actually supports you to take that action. Because when we wake up in the morning, right, you wake up and your brain goes, where are we? What are we doing? Who is it? What day is it? And it then looks around our room, and when we wake up, we go do usually the same pattern. So whether we go to the bathroom, we brush our teeth, we go make a cup of coffee, it's usually the exact same pattern. And in that pattern behavior and in your pattern of your home, you've anchored certain emotions to those experiences. So then you go and you fall back into autopilot pattern straight up. So then if you're wanting to make a change, then your brain's like, no, this is the pattern. We follow this pattern every day. What are you doing? Like, no. So if you want to make some changes, you've got to actually start quite early in the day to actually support that change. So even if you go, well, I'm going to get out of bed on the opposite side, or I'm going to get out of bed in a different way, right? I'm going to go brush my teeth with a different hand. I'm going to go make my cup of coffee in a different cup today. Like, just starting to make change.
You got to disrupt.
But yeah, absolutely disrupt that pattern. Otherwise, you'll have the same emotional response, which then drives the exact same behavior that you used to do. That's why the pattern is so hard to change. So changing around your environment is honestly so worthwhile. And I mean, like, you can move your furniture around, you can change the way that you get up and move throughout your day. And so that actually starts to shift your brain, because your brain's like, oh, this is not the normal pattern. We're going to be awake here. And so it keeps us conscious of what we're then doing next.
All right, that was phenomenal, right? Just like I said, your expectations were managed appropriately, I'm sure. Christine did a great job in explaining her version of alignment, not her version, but her perspective on alignment and how it actually helps you achieve the success that you're looking for. And I mentioned to her several times on the podcast, so make sure that you listen to that. It is linked below. I mentioned to her a couple of times on the podcast how it was refreshing to hear her scientific explanation of things that went along with my experience-based knowledge and how I created my program, Project CEO. Now, if you're not already on the list for Project CEO, that's fine. Just join my newsletter where we'll be sharing lots of tips and different perspectives on how you can achieve your goals easier with less stress, overwhelm, and negative self-talk and limiting beliefs. So if you haven't already, use that link as well to add your name to the list, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you next week in our next video. Bye, guys.